All right. Good morning. Good morning. Friday, May 30th. As promised or as hoped, got a special guest with me today. We'll see who jumps on, get this thing fired up, put another quarter in it, and see what's going on. How you guys doing this morning? We'll go live on Instagram. There we go. Nobody ever shows up on Instagram. Oh, why is that?
I do sometimes
Do you?
if I'm awake.
Yeah. Well, guys, this is my daughter Bailey, and you hear me pitch her link every day on for her social media business, 21 Digital. Mammy's on here.
Aw. Hey, Mammy.
Wendy's here. Rachel is here. Rachel's been asking for you for a while. Rachel Berlin. She's out. Rachel, where are you again? You in Wisconsin, right? So Rachel's in the flooring industry. Dave Howard is here. Good morning, sir. Dave, thank you for inviting another 50 people to the Summit Facebook group. George Ross is over on Instagram. Good to see you. Tags Construction. The big man down in PA, Pat Johnston, is here. He said, "Good morning, Bob and Bailey. I thought I was going to have to put my glasses on this morning to see the screen, but I got it right here on my phone too, so we're okay." So, yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. I hope it's been a great week. Like I've told you, we've got a busy week here, and Bailey's in Dave Brackett's daughter Natalie's wedding tomorrow. Pray for good weather, or at least not rain. Boy, it would be great to have today, wouldn't it?
Yeah, today's the perfect day.
Yeah, I know it. Well, maybe they can move everything up. Thanks to it. So Aaron Callie is here. Good to see you, Aaron. Larry White, good to see you, brother. The main contingent is strong. We got a few Mainers that pop on here, so thank you. Appreciate you guys sharing it out too. It's getting out to more and more people all the time, and I'm having fun with it, and just going every day and being consistent. Day 155 today, 155
Wow.
days in a row. What do you think?
Pretty cool.
So anyway, I wanted to bring Bailey on and talk to you guys a little bit about social media. So she worked for, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you worked before and what you're up to now?
Yeah, I live in Dallas now. It's been about 4.5 years, but the first 2.5 to 3 I spent at an agency there. So they were a full service digital marketing agency, and they also operated one of the biggest Instagram accounts in Dallas. So got a ton of experience, had a team under me, which was really fun. I got a lot of leadership experience, and then branched off on my own about a year ago last week. So I've been doing sort of the same thing, digital marketing. I say that social media management is my bread and butter, but I've been doing content creation now, content creation for weddings lately, which has been really fun. And yeah, kind of all over the place.
Well, it's good. You kind of, it reminds me of what, like when I first started out, people would say, "Hey, do you do that? Do you do?" And I would go, "Yeah." And then they'd say gutters or paint or siding or whatever it was. And I'd run and find somebody who could do that. So you have to be kind of a jack of all trades today, don't you?
Yeah. And I never say no.
Right. Yeah. When I tell people that you do social media, but I also kind of say digital media, what is the extent of what you do? And what I know is that you'll take somebody like Nick and run his social. But do you do other things that attach to that and expand people's services?
Yeah. Digital marketing encompasses email marketing, which you just started doing, SMS marketing, really all things marketing on the side of digital. So less, physical printing out people's signs and t-shirt side of marketing, but more so website management, email blasts, newsletters, all of that.
So yeah, if you guys, I mean, if you're one of those, well, I don't do social media and I don't think it's important to my business, I can tell you straight up, you're getting left behind. You're going to get left behind. And I would add AI and Chat GPT to that as well. I'm learning new stuff every day, and I'm probably one of the older ones on this call. So if I can learn it, you can too. Mark Richards, good to see you. He said, "Awesome to catch you, Mr. Turner. Good to see you there with Bailey." Wendy loves it, loves us. Touring Man is here. Good to see you. Andrew Blackwell, Good to see you, brother. Haven't heard from you in a while. Andrew, post your link on there for your nonprofit if you would. I want to see that, and I'd love to share that up with people. So, Bailey, what do you say to somebody when they don't? Do you get people that don't value what you do? They're like, I'll just post it myself. Like in my business, it was always painting. Somebody's like, I'll do my own painting. But when somebody's doing their social media on their own versus you handling it, what is the gap?
Yeah, I've learned that I typically don't want to work with those people.
Right.
I would love to help and assist, but if they don't have the value there already, it's typically a pretty hard gap to fill.
Yeah.
Because it's not immediate results. So
Right.
it takes a little time. Your first reel or TikTok isn't gonna. Sometimes it goes viral, but typically it's more of a numbers game. So yeah, those are the people that are a little bit harder to not harder to work with, but just harder to see the value behind it because they haven't seen it yet. So they're posting their own stuff. Maybe they have their own, customer base already where they don't really need the marketing, but it's good to have on the side if somebody just shows up to their page. But yeah, there's definitely a gap there.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
And not everyone can be viral like me, right? I mean, all my, I got like 1,500 views the other day, dude. I texted her. I said, I'm viral over here. I have a good time with it. And I send her stuff and I know she just goes, oh God, says Dad, cut it out, stop. But it's a good time and you can kind of gamify it and have fun with it. But I would say if you're not actively handling your social, you're getting left behind. Like I said, to me, everything's Facebook, Instagram. Like, what are the other ones that are good to leverage?
I'd say those are the two. LinkedIn is huge for certain industries. So I work with a private equity commercial real estate investment firm, and their number one platform is LinkedIn, just because all of the brokers are on there. That's where they connect. Some migrate to Instagram, but most of their audience is on LinkedIn.
Do you find that LinkedIn's just straight up B2B or they're, because when I post stuff on there, I just get other businesses that are just asking me to buy stuff?
Yeah, I'd say B2B.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to link stuff on there too. So that client has a new portal launching where you can link it on Instagram, but it has to go through the Instagram bio. So
yeah,
it makes it a little bit easier for people to interact for specific platforms or websites, stuff like that.
Good stuff. I mean, I've dealt with like a lot of my clients have had work with a marketing company and it's, hey, send us $3,500 a month and play the long game here. And they don't have, they're not able to substantiate or validate what they're doing. We'll handle your SEO. We're going to get you number one on the Google page, all this stuff. And I've had clients send, writing big checks for months on end with no results, do you see that happening?
Yeah, I think I was on that side of it in the agency. We were a pretty small agency, but we had upwards of 50 to 60 clients at one time. I had probably 10 to 12 under my belt, but you can't dedicate 20 hours a week to each client when you have 15 of them. And there's a gap in which, I don't know, you're benefiting the big company rather than working with someone one-on-one. So I've liked this side of it where I get to meet people and hear about their weekends and learn their kids' names and learn the mission behind their business and get to interact with them a little bit more directly rather than working with 27 at one time and only getting to hit on the deliverables.
A little more intimate interaction. You've been doing it about a year. What's a good success story?
You're putting me on the spot.
Putting right on the spot. There's no script here, guys.
I woke up 20 minutes ago too.
The shower was running 20 minutes ago.
A good success story. I think just the relationships I've built along the way. I'd say it's a little bit easier when they're in person in Dallas, but being able to maintain relationships with people who I've worked with across the US. I love hearing the comment of we just had someone work with us because they saw our social media. And that's the whole point.
That's
So.
gold, right? Hey, got a couple questions. I know there's at least one. Rachel asked, and if you guys have questions, social media stuff, fire away. Rachel said, what does the onboarding look like? So if somebody signs up with you, where do you go from there?
Yeah, it depends if they're local. That looks a little bit different. If they are, I typically do a complimentary iPhone photo shoot, or at least meet them in person, depending on what the client is. And then we go through all of your existing branding, so your logos, your colors. If you don't have that, I'll set you up with someone who can make that happen for you. And then we just go over all things business model, your goals, what success looks like on social media to you, what you've been doing in the past, and really hitting on all of those so we can hit the ground running. And then usually I take about 2 to 3 weeks before we post anything, just to make sure we're all aligned on strategy, the first round of content. And yeah.
Good. So you have a process that sounds very intentional.
Yes.
Good. She asked another question too. Who's Bailey's ideal client?
I'm all over the board right now. I'd say in the past, it was probably someone in the food and bev service
Okay.
or industry. Those are really fun to me. And they're really fun to go and eat at a steakhouse.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'd say just small businesses in general, probably.
Okay.
Someone with, whoever, whether it's the business owner or their EA who's dedicated to working with me to approve the posts and talk through strategy and shoot me over content if they're not in person. But yeah, really all over the place right now, which I like. I don't like doing, 27 restaurants. So it's fun to have different ones.
And, I get a lot of guys on here that are contractors. You've seen me, you grew up watching me do contracting. So you kind of get it, right? So if there's a contractor out there that's struggling with their social, you probably can help them.
Yeah, it's just typically a time commitment that they don't have. So I like to say it's not rocket science. It's just a time commitment. So, and typically that's the last thing you want to do at the end of the day when you get home from a job site or a long work day is post something on Instagram, but it's important.
Yeah. And there's things too that I think, and I feel this from time to time when I post, is that I don't know what I don't know, whether like a post should have these elements, right? What are those? Because I know like call to action, like try to put something in there. Hey, DM me for a coaching call. Or what are some of the things you gotta have in a post?
I think that they can look a little bit different. I think the audience can tell when every post has a call to action and every post is trying to, have you sign up for their newsletter. So a mix of both. Trying to think of an example, but I just started working with a plastic surgeon and reconstructive surgery business.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have a mix of before and afters, which are huge for them because if somebody wants a rhinoplasty, they're going to look on their Instagram to see what their work looks like.
Sure.
But they also have client testimonials and meet the team. So having a mix of heart behind the business, mixed with, work with me tends to do a lot more than just the constant call to actions. Look at our website, look at our previous work.
If somebody was seeing this and thinking, hey, I might want to chat with her. I mean, is it just to do kind of a discovery call and look at their stuff, do an audit, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's usually a 20, 30-minute call. Tell me what's working for you right now. Tell me what's not. Tell me why we're on the call, and how can we be most successful together. Typically, they've worked with somebody in the past, gotten burned by a big marketing agency and want to see what it looks like to work with someone one-on-one, and then explain my services, how I can help. If, something's outside of my scope, connecting them with Matali, who's my preferred photographer, one of my good friends, or someone who does branding for me, and getting them in the right spot.
Does it have to be do you have like levels where if somebody said, hey man, this is my budget right here, this is what I can afford to throw at it. Can you kind of back into it and say, well, this is what I can do for that. And then let's see how that goes. and then step up to the next level. Can you do that?
Yeah, I think that's been the benefit of working on my own too, is that typically you're not tied to a 12-month contract that you would get in an agency. So being able to be flexible, I've had people that are like, "Hey Bailey, I can't swing it next month." And I'm like, "Okay, let's drop down to the lowest tier and pick it back up when you can." Which typically is what people do. You know, they come in and doing 2 posts a week with me and go up to 4 posts a week and email blasts. But yeah, it's super customizable in terms of packages. I don't have 3 set packages that I send to everybody because everybody's deliverables and goals look different.
What's the sweet spot? You know, I've heard, if you listen to Gary Vee, you're supposed to post 400 times a day, right? But people don't have time to do that. Not everybody has a you, right? So, what about the person that maybe not ready to have somebody like you? How many times a week should they be posting, and what? Is it a story, a post, a reel, or what?
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3. If you're not posting anything at all, hitting it 6 times a week is just going to cause burnout. And your audience is going to be like, "Who's this guy?" Like,
that's what they say about me.
I've never seen him, and now I see him every time I scroll through my page.
Right.
I'd say just committing to, maybe it's 1 to 2 posts a week. I like to give a range. So if you don't hit that one week, you're not, unmotivated to do it the next. So I'd probably say 2 to 3. Videos are huge. They have been the past probably 3 years. Videos have been dominating, but now, as of 2 months ago, carousels are the next best thing. So it's always changing. I would say just post. Don't overthink it. If you're not doing anything right now, just get some content out, get your face in it if you can, if you're comfortable. Show, the face behind the brand is always helpful. Being able to connect with your audience of, this is my company, this is who runs it, and here's what we do.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot now. It's not like I wasn't before, but sometimes I'll post up and she's like, "Dad, geez, or hey, you post too early." Well, I'm up and that's what I'm doing. I'll post 43 posts between 5 and 6 a.m. What's wrong with that, right? So you've seen my stuff, like the lives and the blogs and the all my posts, the reels, the Bob Turner Instagram, Summit Coaching Instagram, the Summit podcast. I got this, that, and the other thing going. And you told me the other day, a while back, take that Summit podcast Insta and just do that on your Summit Coaching. So there was a kind of a streamline there. But when you look at my stuff, what do you see, and what comes to the top of your mind that I should change? Anything?
Yeah, I think in the beginning you had 27 Instagram accounts from
more is better, right?
From Turner Builders to Summit Coaching to Summit Podcast to Bob Turner. People don't have the attention span,
right?
Especially when they open their phones, especially my generation.
Yeah.
I'd say you do a ton of long form content, which is great if somebody has 20 minutes to dedicate at 8 a.m. every single day.
Right.
But incorporating more of the short form when somebody's scrolling and they don't have that time to watch your live from that morning.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't awake or they were in a meeting when you went live. But making it more digestible for somebody who has the attention span that most do on social media, which is scroll, watch it for 3 seconds. If they don't get interested or hooked, they're still scrolling. So finding whether it's a hook in the beginning of your videos or posting or incorporating more short form content.
And a hook is like 5 things contractors should know or something like that, right?
Yeah. There's all kinds of hooks, which that's a great way to use ChatGPT too, is give me a hook for this video of me talking about coaching contractors. And sometimes it's as little as, not being in the frame and sitting down and talking about it. And that's your hook. And that gets someone interested in a video. I think just differentiating content too. It's if you're always filming your content here, which you do your lives here, but going, in the backyard and filming something.
Right.
They're like, oh, he's doing something different today. I wonder what he's talking about.
Okay. One of the things I've thought about is taking this, and I use like Riverside and pipe this up to Riverside and chop it into reels. So it'll take the most impactful moments of a daily life, and I could do that. And guys, that's straight up work. Okay. Like if you don't have somebody that's doing that, that's a fair amount of time. But if you can get somebody handling your social media, it goes away, right? Carmen is here. Good morning. Amanda Stetson says hello.
Hello.
Haven't talked to you in a while. Thanks for jumping on. Miss you guys. Yeah, Wendy, thank you. Really good stuff, she said. Yeah, good stuff, guys. And, I'm always tweaking what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out, what's the best way to get out there. You hear, like, what does it mean to you when somebody says you gotta build your brand, your personal brand?
Yeah, I think you've done that over the past probably year or so.
A lot of work.
Yeah, getting all of your logos and your colors and all of that. But I'd say the most important is just your core values of who you are, what you do, where people can find you, and who you work with.
Cool. What do you want people to know about social media, digital media that maybe they don't?
It's going to be here. That's proven over the past 10 to 15 years. Now it's crucial. I work with a lot of people who started their businesses when it wasn't and have had to adapt their business model or their marketing from print marketing or billboards to
Right.
TikTok and Instagram, which is a hard switch for some people, but it's going to be here. I'd say my search engine is TikTok now.
No
I'm
kidding.
like, what's
Wow.
the best patio in Dallas for brunch? That's where I'm going because I want to see it. And I want to see what other people have experienced there rather than Google. So at least that's what my generation is doing. If I were going to hire a contractor, I'd say, best contractors in Memphis if I lived there, and I'm searching on Instagram.
That's cool. Dave Howard says, Bob, I get paid watching you, right? He's on a break at work. So thanks, buddy. The real question is, would you watch me if you weren't getting paid, right? Yeah. So Rachel, yeah, that's right. Love that. Said mix up the posts, not all sales. So it's not always buy my stuff, right? What do you do personally? The name of the business is 21 Digital. What do you do on that page? Like, what's your strategy?
Yeah, I think I could be better at it, which is
a plumber's sink always leaks, folks.
Yeah. I've been really lucky to have a lot of connections, whether that's from my previous job at an agency or you or friends, where I haven't in the beginning needed to market myself and run paid ads and knock on doors. But all of my work is, you can see it. It's showcasing my work. So I've been shooting weddings for the past 6 months doing content creation, and I have never posted one of the weddings.
Right.
And so I did that last week.
I saw that. That was great.
Yeah. But if I was a bride who was going to hire somebody who did content creation and I went to their page and they had no content creation, I wasn't going to be hiring them. So
right.
Posting what you do, posting your face in it or, your story behind it. I think that sells more than, buy my stuff.
I've heard it said that in social media, and I don't know if this was Instagram or Facebook, but that if you can educate or inspire or entertain, if you can do one of those things on a post, you've done well. If you can do all three on the same post, that's social media gold. Would you agree?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's not. There has to be a little bit of a process to it. Do you set up like, hey, let's say if I started working with you tomorrow, do you you got the onboarding thing, but do you say, hey, Bob, this is the strategy I think we should have for the next 90 to 180 days?
Yeah, that's kind of that 2-week window that I was talking about, where we build out the strategy. Maybe in the beginning, it's just existing on social media, and the next month it's trying to sell.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot more strategy behind it when you work with someone versus just throwing up all the posts that you can.
Yeah, throwing up is right? Because some of us do that on social. Hey, what's your stance? We won't talk about your grandfather here, but what's your stance on sharing politics on social media?
If you're running your business, I wouldn't. If it's your personal account and you have 15 friends like Papa, do it.
He's got more than 15. But
He added my boyfriend last night on
Oh,
Facebook
boy.
5 minutes after he left. I said, well, he must like you if he's adding you on Facebook. He doesn't have a lot of friends on
That's
there.
right. That's right. And I asked Dave Brackett, how many friends you got on Facebook now? He says, well, I'm down to
12.
about 54. But yeah, really, I mean, it doesn't, if you're running a business, probably the best way to eliminate 50% of your clients is to start barking about politics. And hey, if you want to do that, go do it. But I mean, if somebody does that in my group, my Summit Facebook group, I just show them the door.
Yeah, but there's, a way to gain clients that way too. I work with a lawyer now, and he's, that's a core value of his, and he was raised.
Yeah.
He's super proud of his religion and his beliefs, and so are his clients. So he's going to continue posting that. I probably won't, because I'm not super educated on his stance, but if that's what he wants to do, post it.
Yeah. Just own it. But understand that it could be off-putting to some people. And if you say, if it wasn't digital marketing and it was just old, guerrilla style door hangers and that kind of thing, you wouldn't put your political beliefs on there.
Right.
But for some reason, when it's digital, people feel like they can hide behind a keyboard and do that. Rachel says, what do you think about sharing your business posts on your personal profile?
Do it. I think that's your biggest asset is your people. Wendy's sharing my reels, and you're sharing my reels, and Ansley's
you don't
sharing
share my
posts.
reels, though, huh? She doesn't share my reels.
There's a lot of them.
You guys see my fashion pass reel? I'm waiting for that call. They're going to call me.
I think posting on your business page and then sharing the post to your personal page is probably your best bet, rather than posting your business directly on your personal.
Say that again.
So say you post on Summit Coaching and sharing it from Bob Turner.
Okay.
So to direct people back to your business, rather than you can post on your personal page, hey, I'm doing this over at Summit Coaching, but I find it more beneficial.
Not just a shotgun approach like I do, share and post everything everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Guys, any other questions while we've got her here? It was touch and go. I wasn't sure she was going to wake up, but we got her. So she's got a busy weekend in from Dallas yesterday with Tyler, and they're back and forth and going up to the wedding venue. And hopefully we'll get good weather tomorrow for the wedding. I really hope Natalie and Dylan have a great day with that. And and then Sunday back out down to Boston and back to the Big D. So and as luck would have it, I'm doing more and more with Steve Rosenberg all the time, and it looks like I'm going to be in Houston a lot, which is about 3 hours from Bailey. So it's funny how life works, get that opportunity to do that, get down in that area, so we can kind of connect. But this was the longest time though, like since was it been 4 years, right?
4.5.
Since she left 4.5 years ago. We've been pretty good about, going here, her coming here, or me going there every 6 to 8 weeks, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
And this was how long?
6 months.
Well, up until 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
6 months for Mammy.
Yeah, not good. Not good for the grandmother relationship. So,
we had some tears.
Yeah. Wendy says, happy birthday. Yeah. Birthday on Sunday, June 1st, 6198. Yep, exactly. We know it. So Rachel says, thanks for all the great info. Great to meet you, Bailey, and enjoy the wedding. And yeah, Rachel, if you've got contacts or people you want to connect with her, the link is in here. I know she'll do a discovery call with people. And this is just wanting to bring you guys some good stuff, but also dear old dad trying to give a boost here. So yeah, happy birthday. I love you. I appreciate you coming. I know it was, we're kind of jamming this in here. But the people have been asking for you, they've just been clamoring about wanting to meet Bailey. So here she is, guys. Share this out. If you know somebody that's struggling with their social media, share this out to them and let's get them in front of Bailey. Anything to add?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a podcast, I guess. We could load it up to the Summit podcast, but we did a live thing, 154 days in a row, starting 5 days before the end of the year. I would challenge you guys to take a look at your own social media, okay? Because it, like she said, it's not going anywhere. And right on the heels of that is AI and Chat GPT and all the stuff. So it's a fun time to be in business. It's a fun time to be alive with everything that's going on technology wise. Embrace it. You can fight it if you want, but want to thank you guys for being here. Those of you that joined it who I didn't see or call out, I always like to say hello to everybody, but special thanks to you guys that share it all the time and just put it out there. So anyway, guys, go have a great day. Check the links in the chat, all that stuff. Wendy's been working behind the scenes, popping that in there. So love you guys. Appreciate you. Carmen says happy birthday and thank you. Great information. Good deal.
Thanks.
Guys, we'll see you later. Thanks again.
Love you. Bye.
Yeah, love you. Bye.